Ladies and gentlemen, time is one of the most elusive and misunderstood assets we possess. It is the great equalizer, the one resource that every person has in equal measure, regardless of their background, wealth, or social status. Each day we are granted 24 hours of blank canvas upon which we have the opportunity to create, build, and influence. Yet, despite its immense value, time often slips through our fingers, unnoticed and underappreciated. This is because time, unlike other resources, is intangible. You can't see it, hold it, or store it. But its absence is felt profoundly. Once it's gone, it can never be reclaimed. The minutes we waste are not just moments lost, they are opportunities that could have been invested in growth, connection, and purpose. The problem lies in how we perceive time. We often treat it as though it is infinite, as if we will always have another chance, another moment to make things right or pursue our dreams. We push important tasks to tomorrow, delay conversations we need to have, and defer our aspirations for a future that is never guaranteed. This mindset creates a dangerous illusion that time is a renewable resource. But the truth is, every second that ticks away is a piece of our lives that we can never get back. It is gone forever, taking with it the potential it held. Consider the way we handle money. Most of us are cautious with how we spend it. We create budgets, save for the future, and think carefully before making purchases. Why? Because money is a resource that we understand can be depleted. But time, despite being far more valuable, is treated with far less care. We give it away freely, often to activities or distractions that add no real value to our lives. We scroll mindlessly through social media, spend hours binge watching shows, or say yes to commitments that don't align with our goals. These actions might seem small and insignificant in the moment, but over time they accumulate into a pattern of lost potential. What makes time so uniquely valuable is its irreplaceable nature. If you lose money, you can find ways to earn it back. If you lose a job, you can apply for another one. But time is not something you can recover. It doesn't wait for you to get your priorities straight or give you a second chance when you realize you've wasted it. Once a moment passes, it becomes history. And history cannot be rewritten. This is why the most successful and impactful individuals are those who understand the value of time and treat it with the respect it deserves. The challenge is that modern life is designed to steal our time. Every day we are bombarded with distractions, from the notifications on our phones to the endless stream of content vying for our attention. These distractions are not just harmless interruptions, they are deliberate efforts to take our focus and in doing so take our time. Companies and platforms spend billions of dollars to capture our attention because they understand its value. But while they profit, we lose. We lose the ability to focus, to be present, and to use our time in ways that align with our values and aspirations. Understanding the value of time requires a shift in perspective. It means seeing every moment as an investment. Just as we wouldn't throw money into a black hole with no return, we shouldn't give our time to things that don't serve us or help us grow. This doesn't mean we have to be productive every second of the day. Rest and recreation are important too. But it does mean being intentional about how we spend our time and recognizing that even moments of rest should align with our broader goals and well-being. One way to grasp the value of time is to think about its scarcity. Imagine you had only 1 year left to live. How would you spend it? What would you prioritize? Which relationships would you nurture? And which activities would you let go of? These questions force us to confront the reality that time is not endless. It is a finite resource, and its scarcity is what gives it meaning. The urgency of time compels us to make choices, and those choices define the quality of our lives. When we begin to see time as finite, it changes the way we approach our days. Every hour becomes an opportunity to create something meaningful, to connect with someone we care about, or to take a step closer to our dreams. It shifts our focus from quantity to quality. Instead of asking, "How much can I get done today?" we begin to ask, "What is the most meaningful thing I can do with the time I have?" This mindset not only helps us avoid wasting time, but also brings clarity and purpose to our lives. The finite nature of time also forces us to confront the reality of trade-offs. Every time we say yes to one thing, we are saying no to something else. When we choose to spend an hour on a distraction, We are giving up an hour that could have been spent on something more meaningful. This is the cost of wasted time. It is not just the moment itself that is lost, but the opportunity it held. Clarity of purpose is one of the most transformative forces in life. It is the lens through which every decision, action, and moment becomes meaningful. Without it, we wander aimlessly, drifting from task to task, unsure of where we are headed or why we are even moving in that direction. A lack of purpose creates a sense of restlessness, a constant feeling that something is missing. It's like being on a journey without a map or a destination. You may be moving, but you're not making progress. On the other hand, when you have clarity of purpose, everything begins to align. Decisions become easier, distractions lose their power, and your energy becomes focused and directed toward what truly matters. The challenge for many is that purpose is not always easy to define. It's not something you can simply stumble upon. It requires introspection, effort, and often trial and error. Too often, people look outward for their purpose, assuming it can be found in external achievements, material success, or the validation of others. But true purpose comes from within. It is deeply personal, shaped by your values, passions, and the unique way you want to contribute to the world. It is not something that can be imposed upon you or borrowed from someone else's vision. It must be discovered and cultivated, and this process takes time and intentionality. When you lack clarity of purpose, you become vulnerable to the demands and expectations of others. You find yourself saying yes to things that don't align with your values or spending time on activities that feel empty and unfulfilling. This happens because, in the absence of a clear purpose, we default to external validation. We chase goals that society tells us are important, climbing the career ladder, accumulating wealth, or achieving a certain status, only to realize that these things don't bring the fulfillment we were hoping for. Purpose acts as a filter, helping you distinguish between what is meaningful and what is merely noise. Having a clear purpose doesn't mean that every moment of your life will be filled with certainty or that you will never encounter challenges. What it does mean is that you have a guiding principle, a North Star, that helps you navigate through uncertainty. It gives you the strength to persevere when things get difficult because you know that what you're working toward is worth the effort. It also helps you recover more quickly from setbacks, as you can reframe them as part of a larger journey rather than seeing them as insurmountable obstacles. Purpose gives your life context, turning even mundane tasks into steps toward a greater goal. Clarity of purpose is not just about big, long-term visions. It also operates on a smaller day-to-day level. When you wake up each morning with a sense of purpose, you approach your day differently. Instead of being overwhelmed by a never-ending to-do list, you can prioritize the tasks that align with your goals and values. Purpose brings focus, allowing you to channel your energy into what truly matters rather than spreading yourself too thin. It also brings a sense of fulfillment, as you know that the actions you take, no matter how small, are contributing to something meaningful. One of the most profound aspects of having a clear purpose is the sense of alignment it creates in your life. When your actions, values, and goals are all aligned, there is a sense of flow and ease. This doesn't mean that life becomes effortless, but it does mean that you are no longer fighting against yourself. You are not torn between conflicting desires or unsure of what to prioritize. Instead, every decision you make feels intentional and aligned with your larger vision. This alignment creates a sense of peace and satisfaction that is difficult to achieve through external accomplishments alone. Another important aspect of clarity of purpose is the way it impacts the people around you. When you have a clear purpose, it radiates outward. It inspires and motivates others, creating a ripple effect of positive change. People are drawn to those who are purposeful because they sense the authenticity and passion behind their actions. This is especially important in leadership, where clarity of purpose can unify teams, build trust, and drive collective success. A leader with a clear purpose provides direction and inspiration, helping others see how their contributions fit into the bigger picture. It's also worth noting that purpose evolves over time. What feels meaningful to you today may change as you grow, learn, and experience new things. This is not a sign of failure, but a natural part of the journey. The key is to remain open and curious, continually reflecting on what matters most to you and adjusting your actions accordingly. Clarity of purpose is not a destination but a practice, a commitment to living with intention and aligning your actions with your values. This process requires patience and self-compassion, as it is easy to lose sight of your purpose in the busyness of daily life. But even small moments of reflection can bring you back to what truly matters. The power of saying no is one of the most underrated yet transformative tools we have. It is a simple word, just 2 letters, but its impact is profound. Saying no is not about rejection or negativity, it is about prioritization, about recognizing what truly matters and protecting your time, energy, and focus for those things. In a world that constantly demands our attention and pulls us in 100 different directions, the ability to say no is what allows us to remain aligned with our goals and values. It is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-respect. The difficulty with saying no lies in our natural inclination to please others. We are social beings, and much of our sense of belonging and worth comes from our interactions with others. As a result, we often feel pressured to say yes to requests, invitations, and opportunities, even when they don't serve our best interests. We worry about disappointing people, damaging relationships, or missing out on something important. But every time we say yes to something that doesn't align with our purpose, we are, by default, saying no to something else, often something more meaningful. The cost of saying yes indiscriminately is not just a crowded schedule, it is a life filled with obligations that leave little room for what truly matters. Learning to say no begins with understanding your priorities. When you have clarity about what is important to you, whether it's your family, career, health, or personal growth, it becomes easier to recognize when a request or opportunity is pulling you away from those priorities. Saying no is not about shutting people out or rejecting every offer, it's about making intentional choices that align with your values and goals. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are finite resources, and every decision you make is an investment of those resources. Just as you wouldn't spend money frivolously when saving for a major goal, you shouldn't give away your time to things that don't contribute to your larger vision. The power of saying no is especially critical in today's fast-paced world, where the demands on our attention are constant and overwhelming. From work responsibilities to social commitments, there is always something vying for our time. Add to that the endless stream of notifications, emails, and social media updates, and it becomes clear how easy it is to become distracted and overextended. Saying no is a way of reclaiming control over your life. It is a way of creating space, not just physical space on your calendar, but mental and emotional space for the things that truly matter. It is an act of empowerment, a way of taking ownership of your choices rather than being swept along by the expectations of others. One of the most powerful aspects of saying no is the freedom it creates. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your priorities, you are saying yes to something else, something that does matter to you. This could be time to work on a passion project, quality time with loved ones, or simply the mental clarity that comes from not being overcommitted. Saying no is not about closing doors, it is about opening the right ones. It is about being intentional with your time and energy, ensuring that they are directed toward the things that bring you fulfillment and purpose. Saying no also requires courage. It is not always easy to set boundaries, especially with people we care about or in situations where we feel obligated to say yes. But it is important to remember that saying no is not an act of rejection or disrespect, it is an act of honesty. When you say no, you are being truthful about what you can realistically commit to and what aligns with your priorities. This honesty, while difficult in the moment, ultimately builds trust and respect in your relationships. People appreciate and value those who are clear and intentional in their decisions, even if it means occasionally hearing a no. One of the most common fears around saying no is the fear of missing out, FOMO. We worry that by declining an opportunity we might be losing our chance at something amazing. But the truth is, every yes comes with its own opportunity cost. When you say yes to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you are missing out on the chance to invest that time and energy in something that does. The fear of missing out should not drive your decisions. Instead, your decisions should be guided by your values and long-term vision. By saying no to the things that don't matter, you create space for the things that do, and this is where true fulfillment lies. Practicing the power of saying no also means being comfortable with discomfort. It means being okay with the fact that you can't please everyone, and that some people may not understand or agree with your decisions. This is not always easy, but it is a necessary part of living a purposeful and intentional life. You cannot be everything to everyone, and trying to do so will only lead to burnout and dissatisfaction. Saying no is about recognizing your limits and honoring them. It is about understanding that your time and energy are precious, and it is your responsibility to protect them. The power of saying no is not just about saying the word itself, it's about the mindset behind it. It's about shifting your perspective from one of scarcity to one of abundance. Instead of focusing on what you might lose by saying no, focus on what you will gain. Instead of seeing no as a door closing, see it as an opportunity to redirect your resources towards something more meaningful. This mindset shift is what allows you to embrace the power of saying no and use it as a tool for creating a life that is aligned with your purpose and values. The compound effect of small actions is one of the most powerful yet often overlooked principles of personal and professional growth. It is the idea that tiny, seemingly insignificant actions, when repeated consistently over time, can lead to massive, transformative results. The challenge with this concept is that it requires patience and discipline, qualities that are often at odds with our desire for immediate gratification. We live in a culture that celebrates big wins and overnight success stories, but the truth is that meaningful, lasting change is rarely the result of a single dramatic event. Instead, it is the cumulative impact of small, deliberate choices made day after day, year after year. At first glance, small actions might not seem like they matter. What difference does one healthy meal make when you're trying to lose weight? How much can 5 minutes of reading contribute to your knowledge or skill set? These small actions can feel inconsequential, and because their impact isn't immediate, it's easy to dismiss them as unimportant. But this is where the power of the compound effect lies. The results of small actions may not be visible right away, but over time, they add up in ways that can be astonishing. A single drop of water may seem insignificant, but over time, even drops of water can carve through stone. In the same way, small actions, when compounded, have the power to shape our lives. The beauty of the compound effect is that it works in both directions. It can be a force for positive change, but it can also lead to negative outcomes if we're not intentional. Consider someone who decides to eat a slightly unhealthy snack every day. One snack might not make a noticeable difference, but over months or years, those small choices can lead to weight gain, health issues, or decreased energy levels. Conversely, someone who chooses to walk for just 15 minutes a day may not see results immediately, but over time, that daily habit can improve their fitness, boost their mood, and increase their overall well-being. The compound effect doesn't discriminate, it simply reflects the accumulation of your habits, whether good or bad. The key to harnessing the compound effect is consistency. It's not about making huge, dramatic changes overnight. It's about making small, sustainable adjustments and sticking with them. This is why so many people struggle with New Year's resolutions or major lifestyle overhauls. They set ambitious goals that are difficult to maintain, and when they inevitably falter, they give up entirely. The compound effect teaches us that it's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about doing something, no matter how small, every single day. A single small action may not seem like much, but when repeated consistently, it can create momentum, and that momentum can carry you forward even when motivation wanes. Another important aspect of the compound effect is the way it builds on itself over time. Early on, the progress may be so small that it feels invisible. This is the point where many people lose patience and give up, thinking their efforts are futile. But the compound effect is like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but as it picks up momentum, it grows larger and moves faster. The results might be slow at first, but they accelerate over time, creating a tipping point where the impact becomes undeniable. This is why consistency is so crucial. Without it, you never give the compound effect a chance to take hold. The compound effect also applies to intangible areas of life, such as relationships, skills, and personal growth. A single kind word or small act of appreciation may not seem like much, but when repeated consistently, it can strengthen a relationship and build trust over time. Likewise, spending just 10 minutes a day practicing a skill may not feel like it's making a difference in the moment, but over months or years, those small efforts can lead to mastery. The compound effect reminds us that progress doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful, it just has to be consistent. One of the most powerful aspects of the compound effect is the way it reshapes your identity. When you commit to small positive actions, you begin to see yourself differently. Each small win reinforces the belief that you are capable of change and growth. This shift in identity creates a feedback loop. Your actions shape your identity, and your identity influences your actions. Over time, this loop becomes self-sustaining, and the habits that once required effort and discipline become a natural part of who you are. The compound effect also teaches us the importance of time. Many people overestimate what they can achieve in a short period and underestimate what they can achieve over the long term. They become discouraged when they don't see immediate results and abandon their efforts prematurely. But the compound effect reminds us that time is an ally, not an enemy. It is the steady passage of time that allows small actions to accumulate and create significant change. The challenge is to trust the process and remain patient, even when progress feels slow. Another critical lesson of the compound effect is the importance of tracking and measuring your actions. When you're focused on small, incremental changes, it can be easy to lose sight of the progress you're making. Keeping track of your actions and celebrating small milestones can help you stay motivated and reinforce the belief that your efforts are paying off. Whether it's tracking your workouts, recording your daily gratitude practice, or noting the books you've read, these small acts of accountability can make a big difference in maintaining consistency. The compound effect is not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about understanding that small actions taken consistently over time are far more powerful than occasional bursts of effort. It's about recognizing that the results you achieve in life are the cumulative result of the choices you make every day. When you embrace the compound effect, you realize that every moment is an opportunity to make a choice, and every choice has the potential to shape your future. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievements. It is the backbone of every successful endeavor, the silent force that transforms aspirations into reality. Without discipline, even the most ambitious goals remain mere dreams, ideas that never see the light of day. It's not glamorous or exciting. Discipline often demands sacrifice, consistency, and a willingness to push through discomfort. Yet, it is this very quality that separates those who achieve greatness from those who remain stuck in mediocrity. Discipline is not just about self-control, it's about choosing long-term success over short-term gratification, day after day, moment after moment. The challenge with discipline is that it goes against human nature. We are wired to seek comfort, pleasure, and immediate rewards. Discipline requires us to override these instincts, to choose the harder path because we know it leads to something greater. This is not easy, especially in a world that offers countless distractions and temptations at every turn. Social media, streaming platforms, fast food, and countless other conveniences are designed to capture our attention and keep us in a state of passive consumption. Discipline is the antidote to this. It is the ability to say no to what is easy and yes to what is right, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Discipline is not about being perfect or never making mistakes. It's about showing up consistently even when you don't feel like it. Motivation might get you started, but it's discipline that keeps you going when the initial excitement fades. It's waking up early to work on your goals when you'd rather stay in bed. It's choosing to exercise when you're tired, to study when you'd rather relax, to save money when it's tempting to spend. These choices, small as they may seem in the moment, compound over time to create a life that is aligned with your values and aspirations. One of the most important aspects of discipline is the ability to delay gratification. This means resisting the temptation of immediate rewards in favor of greater rewards down the line. It's about understanding that the pleasure of achieving a long-term goal far outweighs the fleeting satisfaction of indulging in the moment. This is not always easy, especially when the results of your efforts are not immediately visible. But discipline requires faith in the process, a belief that the sacrifices you make today will pay off in the future. It's about trusting that every small disciplined action is a step closer to your goal. Discipline is also about creating habits and routines that support your goals. It's not enough to rely on willpower alone. Even the most disciplined people can't rely solely on their ability to resist temptation. Instead, they create systems and structures that make it easier to stay on track, This might mean setting a regular schedule, eliminating distractions, or breaking down larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks. Discipline thrives in an environment of structure and consistency, and by creating habits that align with your goals, you reduce the need for constant decision-making and willpower. Another crucial element of discipline is accountability. It's much easier to stay disciplined when you have someone or something holding you accountable. This might be a mentor, a coach, a friend, or even a journal where you track your progress. Accountability adds an extra layer of commitment, making it harder to give up when things get tough. It also provides an opportunity for reflection, allowing you to assess what's working, what's not, and where you can improve. Discipline is not a solo journey. Having support and accountability can make all the difference. Discipline also requires a mindset shift. It's easy to see discipline as a form of punishment, a restriction on your freedom. But true discipline is an act of self-love and empowerment. It's about giving yourself the best chance to succeed, about honoring your goals and values by aligning your actions with them. When you view discipline in this way, it becomes less about what you're giving up and more about what you're gaining. It's not about denying yourself pleasure, it's about prioritizing the things that truly matter. One of the most underrated aspects of discipline is its ability to build resilience. Every time you push through discomfort or resist the urge to give up, you strengthen your ability to handle challenges. Discipline teaches you to embrace discomfort, to see it not as something to be avoided but as a sign of growth. Over time, this resilience spills over into other areas of your life, making you more adaptable, more focused, and more capable of achieving your goals. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. It's also important to understand that discipline is not about doing everything at once. It's about focusing on one thing at a time, mastering it, and then building on that foundation. Trying to overhaul your entire life overnight is a recipe for burnout. Instead, start small. Choose one area where you want to be more disciplined and commit to it. As you build confidence and momentum, you can expand your efforts to other areas. Discipline is a process, not a destination, and it's the small, consistent efforts that lead to lasting change. Another key aspect of discipline is self-compassion. It's inevitable that you will have moments of weakness, days when you falter or fail to meet your goals. Discipline is not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. When you make a mistake, don't let it derail your progress. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and get back on track. Self-compassion is not an excuse to be lazy, it's a way of staying committed to your goals without being paralyzed by guilt or self-doubt. Discipline and self-compassion go hand in hand, creating a balance that allows you to stay focused without being overly harsh on yourself. Discipline is not something you are born with, it's something you develop through practice and persistence. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be learned and improved over time. The key is to start where you are with what you have and to commit to the process. Discipline is not about willpower alone, it's about making intentional choices that align with your values and goals. It's about understanding that every action, no matter how small, contributes to the larger picture of your life. Rest and recovery are often misunderstood and undervalued in a world that glorifies hustle and constant productivity. We are conditioned to believe that working harder and longer is the only path to success, and taking a break is often seen as a sign of weakness or laziness. However, this mindset overlooks a fundamental truth: rest is not the opposite of productivity, it is its enabler. Just as a machine cannot operate indefinitely without maintenance, the human mind and body cannot function at their best without regular periods of rest and recovery. Ignoring this reality leads to burnout, diminished performance, and ultimately a failure to achieve our goals. Rest is not simply about sleep, although sleep is undoubtedly a cornerstone of recovery. True rest encompasses a broader concept that includes physical, mental, and emotional rejuvenation. It is about creating space in your life to recharge and replenish your energy reserves so that you can approach your work and responsibilities with clarity, focus, and creativity. Rest is not a luxury or an indulgence, it is a necessity. Without it, even the most disciplined and motivated individuals will eventually find themselves running on empty, unable to sustain the effort required to reach their goals. One of the most significant benefits of rest is its impact on cognitive function. When we are constantly busy, our brains have little time to process information, reflect, or generate new ideas. Rest provides the mental space needed for creative thinking and problem solving. It allows us to step back from the demands of daily life and gain a fresh perspective. Some of the most innovative ideas and breakthroughs often come during moments of rest or when our minds are allowed to wander freely. This is not a coincidence, it is a testament to the power of rest in unlocking our full potential. Physical recovery is equally important. The human body is an incredible machine capable of remarkable feats, but it requires time to repair and rebuild. This is especially true for those who engage in physical activity or demanding work. Overtraining or neglecting rest can lead to injuries, fatigue, and a decline in performance. On the other hand, incorporating regular rest days and prioritizing recovery strategies such as stretching, hydration, and proper nutrition can enhance physical performance and prevent long-term damage. Rest is not about being idle, it is about giving your body the time it needs to heal and strengthen. Emotional recovery is another critical aspect of rest. Life is full of stressors, both big and small, and if we don't take the time to process and release that stress, it can build up and take a toll on our mental health. Rest allows us to step away from the pressures of daily life and reconnect with ourselves. It gives us the opportunity to reflect on our emotions, recharge our emotional energy, and cultivate a sense of inner peace. Whether it's through meditation, spending time in nature, or simply enjoying a quiet moment of solitude, emotional rest is essential for maintaining balance and resilience. One of the biggest challenges in embracing rest and recovery is overcoming the societal pressure to always be productive. We live in a culture that values busyness and equates it with success. Resting can feel counterintuitive, as if we're wasting time or falling behind. But this mindset is short-sighted and ultimately counterproductive. Rest is not about doing nothing, it is about doing what is necessary to sustain long-term success. It is about recognizing that productivity is not just about the quantity of work we produce, but the quality of that work. And quality requires clarity, focus, and energy, all of which are replenished through rest. Another important aspect of rest is the concept of intentionality. Rest doesn't just happen, it must be planned and prioritized. This means setting boundaries around your time and creating space in your schedule for activities that recharge you. It might mean saying no to additional commitments, disconnecting from technology, or carving out time for hobbies and interests that bring you joy. Rest is not just about the absence of work, it is about actively engaging in practices that nourish your mind, body, and soul. Intentional rest is what allows us to recover fully and show up as our best selves. The science of rest and recovery is clear. It enhances memory, boosts immune function, and improves overall well-being. Studies have shown that chronic sleep deprivation impairs cognitive performance, reduces productivity, and increases the risk of serious health conditions such as heart disease and diabetes. On the flip side, prioritizing rest has been linked to greater creativity, better decision-making, and improved emotional regulation. These benefits are not just theoretical, they are tangible and measurable, providing a strong case for why rest should be an integral part of our lives. Rest is also about sustainability. In our pursuit of goals, it's easy to fall into the trap of pushing ourselves too hard, believing that more effort will always yield better results. But this approach is not sustainable. Just as a car cannot run indefinitely without refueling, we cannot operate at full capacity without regular breaks. Rest allows us to pace ourselves, to conserve our energy for the moments that matter most. It is the foundation of endurance, enabling us to stay the course and achieve our goals over the long term. Another critical element of rest is the role it plays in fostering self-awareness. When we are constantly busy, we rarely take the time to pause and reflect on our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Rest creates the space for introspection, allowing us to reconnect with our values and priorities. It helps us identify what truly matters and lets us course correct when we find ourselves drifting away from our goals. This self-awareness is not only valuable for personal growth but also for maintaining alignment with our long-term vision. Finally, rest is an act of self-compassion. It is a way of acknowledging our limitations and honoring our need for balance. It is about giving ourselves permission to slow down and recharge without guilt or shame. Rest is not about weakness, it is about wisdom. It is about recognizing that we are not machines and that our worth is not defined by our productivity alone. Embracing rest is an act of self-respect, a declaration that we are worthy of care and attention. It is a reminder that success is not a sprint but a marathon, and rest is the fuel that keeps us moving forward.